The views expressed on the Convo Lounge do not reflect the views of our current employers or our future employers.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Convo Lounge with your host, Shar Rochelle, Amir Anthony, and myself, Antonio Crow. And today we got my brother, Ed Wirt. What up, Ed?
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing?
All right, good.
All is well.
So we're going to be talking about financial literacy. But before we get into that, we're going to start with the question of the day.
Yes. The question of the day today for y'all is, can you date someone for 90 days without paying for anything?
Okay, so let's clarify. Is it going out on dates, or like say I plan, or like my partner plans a picnic for us? Like, can he at least buy the stuff for the picnic, or is it like no money?
No money, not paying for anything. Just getting creative. Like, you can be creative, but like no like extravagant spending, basically.
Got it.
So like, yeah.
So y'all
gonna be creative enough to use. Sorry, y'all. You could be creative. DC in the summertime, ATVs. My bad. He could be creative enough to use what's in his refrigerator or his pantry already,
right,
to plan something. So yeah, I think you could.
Okay.
I think you could also, like, back to what she was saying, like bringing something out of the house, make some food, maybe have like a little picnic with some crackers and cheese and some wine, you know?
I agree. I'm right there with you. I think that there's a ton of things that you can do. You can go on hikes, you can go on picnics, there's free concerts. Wineries usually have, free things that you can join and do. And then it also gives a chance to like show off the creativity on both ends. And I think if you are dating a woman that has values and accepts someone who is true in that sense, then it showcases like the value of the relationship over time, for 90 days. It's actually a test, because I think we all get caught up into like spend. I got to take her out to this fancy restaurant. And I just think that, when you hit it off like that, then you're kind of saying that's the lifestyle that I am about. And then it gives off the wrong message. Now, if you're doing things that is more fun, that is more leisure, I can take you to go hit golf balls. I can get golf balls and, find them in my garage and get a bucket of them and hit them. You won't even know. Well, yeah, I like it, So it's just, there's so many different things that you can do that doesn't require money as the focal point.
I agree. And I think for fellas, especially, not typically you guys pay for everything. It'll be a good way to weed out the women who are with you just for your status and what you can offer. And you can find a woman who's actually into you for who you are and not for what you can offer her. So I think more men should date that way, but be creative about it. Like, don't just invite me over to your house to Netflix and chill. Like, take me to a museum. If your network is popping, you might have connections to sports games. Just be creative with it.
Yeah. I'm not trying to go to Mastro's on the first date.
Oh, no. I think I make a better steak than Mastro's anyway, so.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
No, no doubt. I mean, you can literally like make it seem like you did get it from there, you know what I'm saying? But and bag it up and put it in one of them little styrofoam like to-go joints, hook it up and bring it out on the picnic. You're like, yeah, this ain't Astro, this is Woodsies, you know what I'm saying? Just make up something. You like pasta, you like Maggiano's, you like Buca di Beppo? Oh yeah, I can do that. Don't even trip, Get my Chef Boyardee on, you won't even know. I mean, I can cook, so.
Women love men who can cook, by the way. So
Okay.
if y'all can cook, if y'all got skills in the kitchen, that's the best way to like impress a woman, honestly.
No doubt.
Yeah, my bro Ed, he throws down, man. He's like
I try to do a little something.
Yeah,
I love it.
All right, Ed. So let's get into financial literacy. Tell us a little bit about your background, man.
All right. Well, my background is I'm from LA, born and raised in Compton. Grew up in LA, went away to college, played a little baseball, graduated from college and was in education. And I was working at a bank part-time, and I was making like nearly 60 grand a year working part-time at a bank. So I worked in sales and customer marketing. School, I was only making like 29, 30,000. I enjoyed teaching the kids, but the money wasn't there for what I had to do. I'm like, man, you know what? I just went full-fledged with the bank, moved up, became a credit analyst, became a workforce operations manager. And I learned a lot by working at a banking institution. And I never realized I knew as much as I did until people would ask me to help them with their credit. And just by giving them tips, their scores would go up. So in 2017, I went through a divorce. And at the time when I went through the divorce, my credit tanked. I ain't gonna lie. So you shot down to like the 400. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, you know what? I know how to do this. I started writing letters and I took my score in, I think, 3 months to 786. Wow. Since doing that and all my friends saw that I did that, they started calling, hey man, help me with my credit. And since then, I've just been basically the neighborhood credit repair guy. I'm helping I don't really do it as a outside business. I kind of just help friends and family, like word of mouth type of thing. I kind of get more enjoyment out of that. But at some point I might actually, go a little bit further with it. But I also belong to a company called Wealth Builders, where we teach people how to create income by taking your liabilities and making them assets, meaning using your credit cards to make money, use automobiles you aren't using to make money off automobiles, use skills that you have that you didn't even think you could use to make money, meaning that you could, solicit your services to pick up stuff from the cleaners for somebody, or, go make a grocery run for someone. It's so many creative ways to make income these days. It's ridiculous.
So liabilities to wealth, man, like, can just give us an example, like, and let's walk through this as a group, like.
Sure, no problem. For example, like I like automobiles. I love cars. And right now I probably got about 7 cars. So I got like 3 Mercedes Benzes. I got an old school Cadillac. I got a Dodge Ram pickup truck. I got 2 Harley Davidson motorcycles, right? Well, these cars aren't making no money. The motorcycles aren't making me money. So what I do is I solicit them out with Eagle Share, which is a Harley Davidson where you can rent out your motorcycles. So you can rent your motorcycle out for 60, 70 bucks a day.
Wow.
Okay. And also another way you can make a liability asset. We're in California. And in California, we have ocean and lakes and stuff. People like to ride jet skis and boats. Well, you can actually list your boats and jet skis on the website and make money off of your jet ski rental. You can rent them out for $250 a day. Mm-hmm. So you got 2 jet skis for $250 a day. That's $500 a weekend. You do that 4 times a month. You're making what? $4 grand off each jet ski. That's another $48,000 in income. Which again, you took a liability and made it an asset.
Nice.
Another way that I make money creatively wise is that I like helping people get credit. I actually add them to my credit cards as an authorized user and allow them to piggyback off of my credit. And I charge them, $300, $400, $500, put them on my credit cards for 60 days or so, or 90 days. Oftentimes what happens is the creditors will send them a pre-approval saying you've been pre-approved for a credit card. So they see their scores going up. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they actually qualify within like an 80 to 90%.
Man.
So let me just give you one quick example. Let's say you have 2 credit cards, right? Let's say you have a Bank of America credit card, and let's just say Discover. Oh, let's just say Chase, for example. And you got one credit card with a limit of 10,000, another card with a limit of 10,000. You put an authorized user on your credit card, you may charge them $600. So 600 times 10 people, that's 6,000. But you got another card, you do the same thing. That's $12,000. You can do that 6 times a year. So you just made what, $78,000 or $72,000 off of selling your trade line.
Wow. I've never even heard of that hustle. I've heard of people allowing folks to piggyback, like family members, to help them qualify for a home or whatnot. But I've never heard of folks making it a hustle. That's super creative.
That's one of my little creative strategies I use. I don't do it for a lot of people, just like mainly friends and family, like folks that are trying to get their credit together. Folks trying to refinance their home or, qualify for a line of credit to take care of something they need to take care of around the house. Just a little side hustle, nothing major, but it helps. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's what's up. So financial literacy is not something that's talked about a lot in the Black community, in the urban community. What would you say is the foundation information that every Black person needs to know to build wealth?
The first thing is, it's not anything that we use often, but it's your mindset. Because we have a mindset that we want to get everything right here today. We see a fresh pair of shoes, let's go get that. Or I don't want to spend money to make my credit get better. And like they have a lot of repair companies out here, they might charge you $25 a month, $39 a month, $79 a month. But for whatever apparent reason, the Black community has a problem with paying a monthly fee on anything. Crazy thing, I'm gonna mention this to you. Someone would rather pay me $1,500 to fix their credit than to spend $50 a month and be tied into a contract. So it's really the mindset of us as a community. Like you change the mindset, and boom, you run to the races. But it's just, I don't know, man, it's crazy.
It's the instant gratification that we're all looking for. Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm just give you guys this quick example. I have a friend of mine that I fixed his credit. I only charge him like $150 because he's a friend of a friend, and the friend of him is really one of my good friends. So I just looked out for him like, hey man, I'll take care of it. So he told one of his friends, she called me, I charged her the same thing. It's only be $150. Right. So I took his credit score from like a 6 something to like 757 or 767, something like that. So told her the same, just give me $150. I take care of you. Just let me do it on my pace and my time. This woman was calling me every single day. Like we started in January on like the 28th of January, come February the 12th. She's like, I haven't seen any results. I'm like, it's a step-by-step process. It's not, like you said, it's not instant gratification. You got to send the letters out. They have to reply to you. Then you reply back to them. It's not like I work at the credit bureau and I can go in and just delete stuff. That doesn't work. Okay. And people also think that by getting stuff just completely removed off your credit, it's going to make your score go up. It doesn't work like that. You still have to show them that you're called lendable. Like my brand is called lendable, right? I'm going to be walking around with these shirts that say lendable. You want to make yourself lendable to the credit card companies, the banks, the credit unions. And I also tell everybody the best thing to do is to join a credit union. Navy Federal Credit Union, in my opinion, Langley Federal Credit Union, in my opinion, Golden One Credit Union up in California is good, and Chevron Federal Credit Union. These are all credit unions that you can actually join, and they really look out for their people. Like they really try to help you get what you need to get. You don't have to have an A1 credit score, but just by having what they call building up data points, it allows you to qualify for stuff that you probably wouldn't have qualified for with like the big banks. I know earlier in the conversation we were talking about Wells Fargo. Well, I happen to bank with Wells Fargo. And what I do like every 3 or 4 months is I'll get all my bank statements, I print them out, and I go through them. This is a whole year worth of bank statements. This is from 2019. I'm not gonna show all my personal information, but people don't even go over their bank statements, right? So what I do is I go back over my bank statements and see if there's been fees that's been charged to me that I don't think I should be charged for. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go inside the bank and talk to a branch manager, say, hey, look, you guys charged me this on this date, this on this date, this on this date, this on this date. And oftentimes they'll go back and give you a correction for that and give you credit. And that might be the difference of $200 or $300 you might potentially get back in fees that you never knew you would have had. Now I can buy me a pair of nice Jordans if I want a pair. That's just free money, or to go out for a nice dinner. People don't realize that you can do that. You know what I mean?
No, that's real talking. And you just mentioned two things that I can identify with you on. I'm a member of Wells Fargo, and I'm also a member of a credit union working in the education setting. So shout out to Schools First Credit Union. But Wells Fargo was in the news recently, and I just wanted to know what your thought is on this. Wells Fargo has just notified their customers it is shutting down all personal lines of credit. So what does that mean to those who bank at institutions like Wells Fargo and others? And Wells Fargo has also been in the press for negative things that they have done with their practices over a couple of years ago.
Yeah, what I say with Wells Fargo, I'm a member there myself. I have an account there, and it's going to be a former account because I'm going to be closing them down and moving somewhere else. I strongly believe in the credit union deal. Wells Fargo, I've had an account with them for years, and they never have given me a credit line increase. And they're very, very strict on it. And now being that they're not going to be giving out consumer lending loans any longer, it's like, what am I doing business with you for? I mean, you get with a bank and a financial institution because you want to help grow. You want to be able to buy a home. You want to get a car. You know what I mean? You want to be able to do things. So what's the purpose of me keeping my funds over here with you guys? In fact, you guys aren't allowing me to grow. Like, what's the point? There's no point. So why not go with someone where they open you with open arms? And the thing about a credit union is that when you're a credit union member, you're basically a shareholder. So you basically have stake in that. You're basically like a partner owner of that credit union. So they're going to look out for you as best they can to get you qualified, where other people don't. They don't care. The big banks don't care. All they care about is the bottom line, what they can show their shareholders they're made. Look, we got 50 new customers or 50,000 new customers, and we're making $10 off of each of those customers. Now we're at a $5 million up. You know what I mean? Well, credit union is different. They're like, well, because you remember with credit union, you also get dividends. You realize that when you make a deposit into a credit union, every quarter you get a dividend off of what they profited as a company because you're a shareholder.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. So that's something like you can join a 50 million credit unions and now you got a portfolio of credit unions. You don't even really know you're really an investor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm done with Wells Fargo myself personally.
I'm right there behind you. I'm getting in line too, bro.
Yeah. To be honest with you, they close the day at 1, and by 1:27 when I walk out of there, it's a wrap. I'm closing. I'm shutting them down.
Good. Yeah, I too also have a history in banking. I worked in finance for 10 years.
Okay.
The bulk of my career was in the bigger banks, and then I transitioned over to a credit union right before going to the government. And same, like all of my friends, all of my family, I encourage them all to put all of your money into a credit union. They don't charge monthly service charge fees. You don't have to maintain any minimum balance. You're a part shareholder. So I encourage everyone to put their money in a Black-owned bank too, as well.
I agree with that as well.
We have a bank out here in DC called Industrial Bank. That's a Black-owned bank. That's a whole different story for a different day. But in the meantime, y'all, please put your money in a credit union.
Yep, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, like there's another bank out in Atlanta. I think it's Bank One or something. I could be wrong on the name, but there's a rapper, Killer Mike, that's really trying to get people to invest there. There's a Bank One United out here in California as well, which I think is also a Black bank as well.
Yeah, One United, they messed me up though, bro. I had to take my money out of there. I kept getting compromised.
I've heard some horrific stories about some of our
I kept getting compromised.
The right one.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not saying put all $65 million you got sitting on under your mattress there, but throw a little something in there to keep them afloat.
Word.
Yeah. So, and I want to go back to the mindset of it all, because we all want to be wealthy, right? We all, the new buzzword in the Black community is creating generational wealth, but we cannot do that. We cannot get there without the mindset. And I believe that certain times it's how you were raised, how you seen your family deal with money. It's kind of like that kind of trickles down to the person. How can we unpack the mindset a little bit more so that everybody has an equal playing field in this financial game?
Well, what I would say is first, you got to start with the kids. They don't teach financial literacy in high school or college,
Yeah.
So if you can get your kids at an early age, right around, say, 13, 14, when they start learning about how to count well and money or whatever, it'll carry over to them. Just to give you my own personal example, for me, my father and mother were married 51 years. My mom passed away in 2000. But my dad's from the old school. He make the money, give it to mom. She take care of all the bills. He don't know nothing about no credit cards, none of that. He get the cash, it go to mom's. She take care of everything. Well, she passed away. So when my mom's passed away, Pops had to start getting stuff in his name. Get a car, get lights in his name. You know what I mean? It was just a different situation for him that he had never experienced because he's a military dude. Mm-hmm. He gets money, it go to mom. She take care of everything. Well, anyway, Pops is 63 years old with no credit. You know what I'm saying? So he was always from the old school. Well, if I don't have the money, I'm not gonna buy it. He a cash thing. He's cash heavy but credit poor. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that again. Cash heavy but credit poor. So what I'm saying with that is you can get more stuff with a 720 credit score than having $720,000 in the bank, because no one is going to trust you because they don't know your history. You know what I mean? So what I had to do with my dad was 63 years old. I had to add him to one of my credit cards as an authorized user back as I said earlier. I then had to get him a secured card set up, which we did Capital One. Mm-hmm. I also had to help him set up some bank accounts in his name solely, because my mom's passed. We had to take all her name off everything, and now it's all him. And then he was eventually able to build his credit. He actually built his score pretty damn good too. He actually bought him a place and everything after that.
That's dope.
But changing the mindset means don't be scared to get credit. Credit is not bad. Old people say credit is the devil. Oh no, you're gonna mess yourself up. That's not the case. Yeah. Credit only affects you if you don't take care of what you need to take care of. The key to credit, two big components: payment history and utilization. Your payment history is 35% of your credit score. Your utilization is the other 30%. So 65% of your score is based upon things that you do yourself, which is pay your bill. And secondly, charging on the card and keeping the balance under 30%. So if you got a credit card for $10,000, try not to go over $30,000 and make your payments on time. If you can't make your payments, people don't realize this, you can actually call your credit card company and ask them for what they call a payment holiday, meaning they'll forgive a payment for you where it doesn't affect your credit report. And they don't report you 30 days delinquent until you technically go 2 months without making a payment. So if you know it's tight 1 month, call them, hey, I need a payment holiday. Now you got 90 days to get yourself back on track to make your payment for the next time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's game. That's game right there.
Super game. And then one other thing too I'd like to throw out there is within the Black and brown community, a lot of us want to make a better living for ourselves. So we go to school, we go get that education, that piece of paper. You know, some of us are first generation in our family, whether it's getting an undergrad or graduate degree. So can you speak on the impact of college loans and how that affects things?
All right. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk about your boy, Donald D. Trump. All right. I think he came with something where the student loans are now going to be it impacts you qualifying for a mortgage loan, right? They'll look at your total overall amount of money you owe with a student loan, and then they take, I think, like a tenth of that, and then they reduce that from what you can qualify for, right? So now Biden is in the administration, and they're supposed to be working a deal out to where after 4 or 5 years, the student loans don't affect the credit score. The credit reporting agencies, as we know it as of today, is going to be changing to go into the CFPB, which the normal credit reporting, which is Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, that's going to be changing over to CFPB, meaning the government is going to be controlling what's reported to your credit report. But student loans really can impact your score negatively and positively. Let me explain how. Most of us, I graduated high school in '89. I'm old, about to be 50. So I got student loans back in the '90s.
Black don't crack though.
Yeah. All right. So my student loans have been on my credit report since the '90s, right? Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I first got out of school, I'm like, man, I ain't never paying these student loans, right? So of course that affected my credit score. What I did was I called the student loan people, Sally Mae. I think that was Sally Mae back then, and said, look, I would like to work a payment plan with you guys. I worked a payment plan. I paid $50 a month for like 9 payments, and they took care of all the negative stuff I ever had. But what happened to me with this is helping me because now I got history from 1990 that's positive.
Mm.
So student loans, anything you have on your credit, I don't care if it's a car loan, a house loan, a boat loan, a motorcycle loan, or whatever. All you got to do is pick up the phone and talk to people. They want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you talk to them, work a payment plan, do what they say to do, you're going to keep yourself in line with what you need to get done. Student loans can actually help you qualify for more than it can hurt you if you do it the right way, basically.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Jameer.
No doubt. I appreciate that, Ed, because one thing I did a few years ago was I enrolled in a public loan forgiveness, working in the service industry, working in higher ed, and there's a public loan forgiveness plan that you can get into. But I definitely need to make sure that I'm on top of those things because I'm in the process of, wanting to buy property out here in Southern California, Inland Empire area, hopefully. So it is important that we have these conversations, and we need more individuals like you, Ed, that can go to the community, that can go to places where we're congregating, whether it's at the church, whether it's in the barbershop. A platform like this that we have is the reason why we created it, is so that we can have these conversations that impact our communities, our urban community. College loans do have an impact on us, and we have to realize that because you are getting that piece of paper, that means that it's not going to change you earning that piece of paper and earning, what it is that you want to have, which is owning property, which is something that we need more of in this country.
Like, to be honest with you, like somebody can graduate from college and they have student loans on their credit report and just get one credit card and pay it on time, and now they can qualify for buying a home. So that student loan is helping you because you have credibility now. Like I said, you look lendable. They see the government just gave you money, so they're going to give you an opportunity because the government just gave you 50 or 60 grand to get educated. And now that they know that you're educated, they know that your earning potential is there. Let me give you guys another piece of quick game. I'm going off cuff. This is off the top of my head. When you go to apply for a loan at a bank, and let's say you have a business, they look at a SIC code. It's called a SAIC code. That's basically a code for each industry that you're in, and they can look up that code and kind of see what the probability of you paying your loans back is, what kind of income you make. They do that for like, I think, a 2 or 3 year time frame. They go back like 36 months. So they can just look at whatever industry you're in before they even pull your credit for business or anything to make a determination on what kind of income you're going to generate, and then also what kind of payments you're going to pay back or how you do pay back. People don't realize that. Also, when you go and have a bank account, let's go back to Wells Fargo. If you keep 10 grand or 20 grand in your bank account, you have what they call a bank rating. A bank rating is like an internal board that every bank, financial institution, and big bank and financial institution gives each customer. So if you got 40,000 in the savings account and checking account, you have a certain bank rating. You got 10,000, you got another certain bank rating. So these are like internal codes the banks use to make a determination on giving you loans. That's how you start getting those pre-approvals coming in the mail from, let's say, Chase or Citibank or Bank of America, because they see that, you know, Shar keeps $25,000 on average a month in her account. Let's send her a pre-approval for a $25,000 credit card. You know what I mean? Just a little piece of quick game.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So we hear a lot about multiple streams of income, investing, stocks, property. How would you help someone like, again, from like a foundation level, how would you help somebody get into the investments game?
Well, I myself, I like looking kind of like into Forex trading, and people don't realize this as well, but on your phone, there are apps where you can actually practice trading. So there's classes you can actually take for free off your phone through your apps, and there's quizzes, and you can actually learn how to trade. And I do that. I'm not really actively in the trading market right now, but I've been kind of learning Forex trading, kind of learning what the symbols are and when to do and when not to do, how to trade the currency and so forth. So the first thing I would say is download one of those apps on your phone, give it about a 30-day trial to learn, you know, yourself on your own. Now, what I do myself personally, when I do start investing again, is I look at stuff that I use all the time. I'm a truck driver also by trade. I'm a barber. Andis clippers have been around forever. My father was a barber. My grandfather was a barber. So what I do is I'll go find a symbol for Andis and I invest in that because I know they're not going to. I'm an outdoorsman. I like to fish and camp, and I like to drink beer from time to time. So Coleman coolers. You know, Coleman, they make the refrigerator. I mean, they make the coolers. They make sleeping bags. I invest in those type of things that I see that have been around forever and a day. It's simple. That's what I do.
That's powerful, man. That's deep because, like, my dad always used to say, son, invest in Coca-Cola. Invest in, you know, brands that have a longevity. So when you think of Coleman coolers, how many of us go camping or go to the beach and we've used them?
Everybody has a Coleman cooler.
You know?
Every household in the United States of America at some point or another has had a Coleman cooler. Guaranteed.
You know?
Now, also, like you, Antonio, you do music. Pioneer. Newmark. They've been around forever. They're not going nowhere.
Right.
So I invest in those things that I use quite often.
So, okay, so I'm about to jump a whole nother subject, but it's really relative to what we're discussing. I saw an article this week about the millennials that's making $100,000 a year have been living paycheck to paycheck. And I kind of attributed that to like Uber and Uber Eats and whatnot and our spending habits. You have any insight on how someone making $100K can live paycheck to paycheck?
I surely can. I'm gonna give you an example. My cousin just called me. I ain't gonna say her name, but she just called me a minute ago. And she makes really good money. And I'm trying to help her do some things with her credit. But again, it's back to the mindset. You know, we as people, we want to keep up with the Joneses. We want to ride around in the Rolls Royce, but we only got a budget for a Honda Accord. It's the mindset. Everything is the mindset. Look, my father used to give me a saying. He says, rubber wheels beat rubber heels. I never really knew what he meant by saying that. But what he's saying is, as long as you rolling, bro, you good. You don't need to be out here. You know, we went to Sarah High School. Everybody had the Hondas back then. I wanted a Honda bat. I ain't gonna lie. I said, no, you're gonna drive this Dodge Dart right here, this 1976 Dodge Dart. You still getting to school and you got a car, don't you? I said, yeah, you're right, Pops. I'm rolling. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the whole thing is the mindset. People make 100, but spend 400. It's the mindset. Yeah. Stay within your means. Stay humble. Stay within your means. If you stay within your means, you're gonna be able to prosper and progress. But,
that's deep. It is a mindset, and you know, we're so, our community is so enamored keeping up with the Joneses, or even copycat mindset. It's like, I see this person on social media, so I can do it too. And then I also want to grab things that I shouldn't be grabbing that are loans. So like what's popular now is the PP loan, right? I hope I'm saying that right. So can you kind of give us more?
PP. We can talk. We can have a whole conversation about that.
So like for our listeners, because you're seeing a lot of people in the Black and brown community, the urban community, they're doing this, and they're, you know, for lack of a better word, they're hitting licks with these institutions, and they're getting money and they're getting loans, and then, you know, on the other side, it's not working out for them. So he kind of give insight on like why it's not the thing to do?
Well, myself personally, like I have quite a few people that, hey man, I can get you this, I can get you that. I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. I pass. I don't want that knock on the door at 6 a.m. with the jacket boys coming to escort me up out the house. And I'm not the kind of person that's gonna tell on somebody. So I know I'm gonna have to ride it to the wall. You feel me?
Right.
So I'll leave it alone. I'd rather not even put that pressure on myself. But there's gonna be a lot of people, unfortunately, I hate to say it, in our community, black and the brown community, that know doggone well they ain't made no $100,000 and they got $150,000 PPP line of credit with no business for real, and the people gonna come see about you. It's already happening.
Yeah, it's already happening.
It's already happening. And then it's not making it any better with the fact that the news media is highlighting the people that's been doing all this fraud. You know what I mean? Because it's fraud. Anything over $10,000, you're dealing with the jacket boys. You're gonna have to sit down and ride the wave. It is what it is. So I'm telling people, if you don't really have a legit business, stay away from that, because it's not even worth it. You're going to be in more trouble than not. You know, like you say, it's a lick. Yeah, lick is a lick. At some point or another, lick is going to be up. But remember, you're borrowing money from the government, which is going into your personal bank account. So they know everything about you. And then also, what you fail to realize, in the small fine print, it says that you put yourself up for collateral if these funds are not allocated for your business. So you basically writing yourself off to come get picked up. I'm cool. I'll pass.
And it was
I'll stay making my little $5 a week. I'm good.
Right. No, because it's just, I felt like it was like a lot of that was being seen on social media and glorified, and coming out of the two different pandemics, I like to say, that were that were health related and also social related. And you just seen a lot of Black folk and other people in the urban community I gotta get it. They were advertising it. It's just like, oh, people like, oh, I can get this bread. I can get this quick money. It's like, quick money is gonna make you serve long-term sentences.
They were advertising forgiveness. So it was almost as if it was free money, but it's really not.
No, like I say,
nothing in America for Black people is free. Like, hello.
Come on, think about it. Look, think about, all right, sorry about cutting you off, Shar, but you guys,
you're fine.
Y'all done got me turned up now, but listen.
That's what we want.
The president of the United States of America, our president, never gave any information about his taxes. He's the president of the United States of America. He refuses to give information about his taxes. He's also done other stuff. I'm not going to get into politics, but we as small people in our community, Black and brown community, some people have businesses or whatever, they rake us over the coals for $2,500 that we owe, So what makes you think someone is going to give you some free money when we in a pandemic and we struggling as an economy as it is?
Yeah.
So what makes you think that they're going to give all these billions and billions of dollars and it's not going to be some kind of a reciprocity for that? You're going to get in trouble. That ain't free money. For real, you're going to get in trouble. For real. Whenever in history have you known them to give out as much money as they have been giving out? I don't recall at all. Not during the Reagan administration, not during the Clinton administration, not during the 2 Bush eras that they ever gave out any free money, ever.
And even when they gave us money, I mean, we can go back to, you mentioned the Reagan administration. I watched a documentary not so long ago, and they focused on the term welfare queens, and they broke up the communities, and the father was no longer in the household so that they can earn that money, right? So even when we did qualify, we still had a negative stigma on it. So then when we tried to do shortcuts, then it creates another stigma for us. So that's why it's extremely important to have conversations around financial literacy, and then within our families too, because people pit each other against each other, and you get the comparisons, and then people start yip yapping about things. But if you just sit down and listen, and like you mentioned, read the fine print, we can all be better as a people and not expect a handout. And for our listeners out there, we were talking about Trump when it came to the taxes thing, because that's ridiculous. Like I think he's like the only president in modern history that's never provided that documentation. So that's just beyond crazy.
And now we know he's not required to. That part is wild.
Like I say, you and I and all of us on this panel right here, and even our listeners, if we owe $5, they come to see about it. We owe $2,500, they come to see about it. We got someone has made billions and billions of dollars, what they say, and he won't provide any.
And many bankruptcies on top of that.
Right.
Many of them. Many of them. What he does is he gets a whole pool of people. Like I would say, hey, I want you guys to invest in this credit repair company I'm starting. I need all y'all to give me 10,000. You give me the 10,000, I file bankruptcy. Now y'all want to knock my head off, but it ain't nothing you can do legally. Y'all gave the money up. There's no guarantee on nothing. You know, it is what it is. That's his game. That's been his gun line. But we're gonna leave politics alone. But going back to you, Amir, like you were talking about in the Reagan administration. In the Reagan administration, a lot of our parents bought homes.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, the interest rates were the highest they have ever been in history. They were like 10 and 11%.
Yeah.
So our parents and grandparents were buying homes for 40 and 50,000, but they really were paying 400,000 and 500,000 with the interest that was compounding, because interest is amortized and it compounds daily. You got a 12% interest rate on a $54,000 home or $68,000 home, and now you know we're in California, so the equity goes up quite a bit. Now the home is worth $150, and you didn't get a refinance on that, but you still got that high ass interest rate. You paying 50 times what you pay for the house.
Yeah.
And even during the Reagan administration, they made it a lot easier for people to qualify for homes. And back to what you were saying, Amir, you know, we are from urban communities and we have projects, right? Well, in the projects, in order for the lady to stay there with her child, the father can't be in the house. That was the law.
Yep.
No man can live in the house. You stay in the projects by yourself. So that created the separatism. You know what I mean? The pitting of each other against each other, meaning, oh, I don't need no man and all this stuff. But I'm not going to talk about relationships. We're going to leave all that alone. But I think everything has been done in a systematic approach, you know?
Yep.
So the whole thing, going back to everything, is, hey, if you can raise your little pups at an early age to learn about financial literacy, because they don't teach this in school, man, they'll be done. For example, you can take your kid that's 12 years old, get one credit card for $300. Never use it. Just use it to buy gas, pay it off every month. Put them on your account as an authorized user. When they graduate high school, they got a 750 credit score. They can go to any bank at that point and buy whatever they want, because guess what they got? 6 to 8 years of history on their credit report.
Wow.
One of my friend's moms did that for her, and it worked.
It worked. I'll tell you, man. There's so many different angles, and there's so many other ways you can make money. Back to what you were saying, Shar, about creating extra income and generational wealth. Well, with credit, like I'm all about credit cards. I love credit cards. Y'all can give me a piece of plastic with some money on it? It's on. Let's get it. So what a lot of the credit cards these days, they offer these promotions. Charge $3,000, get 30,000 bonus points. Those 30,000 bonus points you can redeem for cash. That's $300 real quick, free. So let's say you got 4 credit cards in 1 month that give you 30,000 points. You can get the points up quick. And I'll tell you about that real quick in a second. 300 times 4, that's $1,200 you just made in a month. And this is how you get the money. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. Take notes. Listeners, take notes. You get a brand new credit card. Let's say it's American Express, and they give you, let's say, 50,000 bonus points for charging $2,000 in the first 60 days, right? You go right to a Dick's Sporting Goods store, Costco, Walmart, Target, it doesn't matter. Buy some TVs, wait 3 or 4 days, return the merchandise, you still got 30 to 50,000 free points. Did y'all hear me?
Flip.
Hey.
Flip. That's that 30-day guarantee, just real quick. Boom. Hey, yeah, you see this TV? Now you don't see this TV. You post it, boom. I got that 70-inch. What happened to that 70-inch? It wasn't.
I took that back, man. It wasn't working right. The remote didn't work right.
Right. Yeah.
So now guess what you just got? You just got 50,000 bonus points, which can be redeemed for cash, which equates to what? $500. You got 4 cars, you do that, you just made what? $2,000 in a month. I'm not suggesting that you do that, but
hey, it's out there.
Hey, wink, vacation time. I'm headed to Bahamas. Now that's
and then also
right there.
a lot of the credit card companies nowadays, they even have those promotions where you can redeem the points for free travel or whatever. Now again, I'm not suggesting that anyone goes out and does that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But
like your bill pay. If you do your bill, you pay your bills, your credit card, you get points.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys another one. There's a company called Plastic, right? Plastic allows you to register your credit card. You pay everything you got to pay off your credit card. Rent, car payment, car insurance, cell phone, and everything. Well, we know that most credit cards these days offer points for using your credit card. So why not use the card and get 3 or 4% back? At the end of the year, you probably made $800 or $900 to $1,000. That's a free trip.
Yeah.
That's a free dinner. That's a nice purse for your lady, or a nice wallet for your husband or your boyfriend.
Yeah, points.
So real quick, Ed, so like another hot thing that's out there right now is the investment of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hip on that right now? Because I know it's like a really hot thing.
I mean, again, I'm not really into that. You know, I'm a credit card guy, bro. I get all mine off credit. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it, and I don't trust it too much because how you gonna make up generic currency? Give me some green that I can spend, man. I'm not with all that digital currency stuff. I'm from the old school, bro. Give me some dollar bills. I need some money in my face to pay some bills. I can't pay no bills off no Bitcoin. I can pay bills off for having some money in my bank account.
Right.
So I'm probably not the guy to talk to about digital currency because I don't. It's a gamble. Like, okay, recently about a couple of months ago, everybody was like Dogecoin, and people was making all this money in Dogecoin. I haven't seen a person yet cash out no money from Dogecoin yet. That's just me.
Right.
Then it tanked, and everybody was all messed up. Man, I should have pulled it out when I had a chance.
Yes, Elon Musk was supposed to be on Saturday Night Live. It was about to go up, but that didn't really happen.
Tank, and everybody mad. Man, I should have pulled that money out when I had. I was up 38,000. How you gonna be up 38,000 off investing 3 cents? Man, you gonna knock it off? That's just me. I'm not the person to talk about. I don't do digital currency. I can't do it. I pass. Right. That's just me. You guys may have success with that, but I stick with what I know, man. I'm from those.
Yeah. Right. No, I refer to my white friends when it comes to investing because they've been doing it for years. Like Black people are just now getting into the stock market game. And I have another friend at work who's Black, and I'll ask him as well. But once they tell me like, nah, I wouldn't put my money in that, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
All right. What's the guy's name? Who's the rich guy out of Nebraska? Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
I listen to Warren Buffett a lot. I go to YouTube and I listen to Warren Buffett a lot. And also back to you, Char. Sorry about this. You mentioned about how to learn about investing and so forth, and getting residual income. I go to YouTube all the time and just type in YouTube University investing, YouTube University residual income, and just read and listen to what people are saying and what they're doing, and I try to copy it.
Yep.
But they say if you want to be successful, follow successful people. If you want to be a millionaire, hang around millionaires. Yeah. I went to a conference in May. It was a wealth conference, and we had probably about 200 or 300 people there. And the age demographic was from like 50 to maybe 23. The 23 to 35-year-olds had far out surpassed us older people because they've done stuff that we haven't done. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about these guys are 23 to 35 years old, millionaires, because they invested and, social media, they had not do all that marketing stuff. And there was one guy, he's an older guy, and he was saying he was an engineer and worked at a consulting firm as well. He was making about 200-something thousand a year. And he just went out on faith and started doing financial literacy and giving seminars and public speaking. And one thing he said is we got to put ourselves at the table, meaning that if you want to be successful, you got to put yourself at the same table that the folks that are eating that are successful at. You know what I mean? So he said he invested in himself. He spent $20,000 or $30,000 going to these seminars, but people started seeing him. And now his name is out there. His face is out there. It's marketing. Back to Antonio. I know you have your own clothing line, Selfish Society. I'm a fan. I'm trying to learn how to build my own brand as well. But you're putting yourself out there. You're at the table. You're in the same space as these other people that are being successful. So the whole thing is just putting yourself at the table and making yourself there to learn and be around people that you want to be like.
Mm-hmm. Going back to that cryptocurrency, it's the mindset of that instant gratification. Anyone who's been playing the stock market game will let you know this is a long-term game. It's not an instantaneous thing. So like that was my first red flag, is like just seeing people get this instant money. I'm like, something ain't right. Anything you can get quick, something's not right. Something's not, that's just the way of the world. If you look at the process of everything has a process, everything takes time.
Right. No,
like, for example, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's true. Cause I mean, I kind of got involved in it just to kind of, not just a little bit of money. I didn't throw my whole paycheck, but it's, just get a feel for it and see what it's like. I'm like, all right, you know what? It's a game of, short game, but it doesn't turn into like long term. So for me, I had a 401k that I started years ago when I was 22 working for Anheuser-Busch. working in the beer industry, and I created that, and it's, over time it's been beneficial for me. But one thing what I did is I put it in the IRA. Then I had some cash I can play with, and I got into the stock market. And going back to the conversation you were saying, Ed, and what your dad was saying to you, is I invested in things that I like. I like golf. So I invested in a golf leisure company that's like Top Golf, and they're actually going to open up some locations here in SoCal in the next summer, right?
Sweet.
So I was like, hey, if they're going to invest and put some out here, long term, that's going to accumulate at some point. So I was smart. Well, another thing is e-gaming, entertainment, all these kids are now playing games and playing online. That's like a new thing. You can get a college scholarship for it now. So I invested in an organization, a company that does e-gaming competitions. Long term, I'm thinking about the future because we live in a high-tech society. So I think it's important to look at the market and then look at penny stocks that can long term accumulate to something big, and just look at the trends. I think it's extremely important to do that. Same thing with electric vehicles is another one that's going to blow up eventually over time. So I think it's important to kind of look at the trends and not get so caught up into things that are temporary. That's going to give you money. That's like, all right, cool. If one person's success doesn't mean that's my success as well.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys another quick tip that I've learned, and I'm not really a big heavy investor, but I look at what's going on. So let's say there is a hurricane, let's say down in Florida or Louisiana or Texas. Why not invest in lumber?
And now it's a shortage.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dope.
Pay attention.
Another thing, hurricane, anything that's bad that happens, why not invest in Nestle water or Niagara water?
Yeah.
Canned fruit, Dole, Campbell.
Canned goods.
Yeah. And you become an owner of the company when you invest.
Yes, sir. I was looking at a YouTube video earlier this morning, and Shaquille O'Neal was on there. And he said years ago, he invested in Ring. It was new technology. He had bought a new home, big old, huge home, it's Shaq. So he called a couple of alarm companies out there. The first guy that came out said, man, it's going to be 80,000. We looked at the house. It's going to be 80,000, put security cameras around this big old spot. Said he called another guy out there. The other guy was like, oh, it's going to be about 65,000. He's like, man. So he said he goes on his phone or something, and he saw that at Best Buy, they were offering this thing called Ring. So he went to Best Buy, bought the ring, hooked it up at his house, said he was overseas somewhere playing basketball. Somebody rang the doorbell. He could see it from his phone. So he said he called up them immediately and invested a whole lot of money in it. And now he's like one of the biggest shareholders in Ring, and people don't even know that. Shaq is investing in like 100-something companies that people don't even know nothing about.
Shaq,
he owns the Elvis Presley brand. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Shaq owns the Elvis Presley brand.
Shaq is what you call a venture capitalist.
Yes, sir.
He gets involved and he puts his face on things. So when you see him on those Ring commercials, the General's insurance commercials, Papa John's, I think Carnival Cruises, he's putting his name on things, but he's highly invested. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Shaq has never spent his NBA salary in his career.
Never.
He made $400 million off the shoes in Walmart.
Right. Yep. So think about that for like concept. Like Shaq is like, we look at him as this big 7 foot something ding dong.
But he was smart.
But he's smart. Same thing with Nas. Nas is venture capitalist.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you another person. The Millionaire, the guy out of Houston, the other rapper.
Oh.
Same thing. Him and Nas, I think, did some business together. But the Millionaire is sitting real healthy, very healthy. Paper. Another person, James Harden. James Harden is sitting pretty healthy. He did some things as well, like you say, on some venture capital. He invested in some entertainment companies. I think he owns like part of Walt Disney or something crazy. Like he's all set. He's all set.
Speaking of that, there's another person I want to throw out there for like the sports head, the basketball heads. Y'all remember Benny the Microwave Johnson?
Oh yeah. Hey, it's funny.
Detroit Pistons back in the day played with the Bad Boy Pistons. And if you look at him, Image, you probably saw this, country brother, whatever. My man is worth $400 million.
Yes.
From Wendy's? Is that the Wendy's man?
Nah, that's not Wendy's. That's That's oh man, my dad always talks about him. That's hold off. I'm gonna give you his name.
All right, but finish the one you were talking about. My bad. Finish the one you were telling us about.
But no, Benny Johnson got involved.
Who was that?
In the automotive industry, and he invested in automotive stuff.
For the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, he invested in that. But you're talking to the guy from Milwaukee Bucks. Here, Bucks player.
Vin Baker.
Nah, not Ben. Ben Baker is invested in some stuff. Bucks player, Wendy's, Junior Bridgman.
Okay.
Junior Bridgman played in the 70s when they were making like a couple $100,000 at the time. That was like big money. But he got involved in investing in a lot of these food franchises, and Wendy's is one of them. And my dad always used to talk about him back in the day. After he retired from the NBA, he invested in all those franchises and now owns over 100 various Wendy's and Chili's restaurants.
Yes, sweet.
Yeah, Junior Bridgman. Yeah.
Junior Bridgman.
Benny Johnson went heavy with the Ford Motor Company, I believe.
Yeah,
he's like chairman on their board and all kind of stuff. He's sitting real healthy,
real nice. And all it is like he has investment in like the tools are it's a part that they make to this manufacturing company, and he sells it wholesale to these other automotive like GM and Ford and all them. And if you see him, back in those days, they didn't make that kind of money that today's NBA players do. But if you're smart, you make a couple $100,000, you can turn that into whatever. Now he has generational wealth. Junior Bridgman, worth $650 million, made, a couple $100,000 in the NBA, but he got involved with the right people, invested in the right franchises, and he's papered up.
Yeah, and they said Vinny Johnson, like you say, his net worth is like $400 billion. It's crazy.
Yeah, you would have never thought that.
And we all know that when he played basketball, they didn't have the contracts like they have now.
Nope.
So he did all the self-made stuff. That's sweet.
And wasn't even a star player on that team.
Not at all. Yeah. He was a six man, came off the bench. Just like your butt real quick.
Right.
And it's funny you said something about him, because I was at a barbershop yesterday talking to my boy, and he's a barber. He used to cut his hair. He said he used to come in with Magic. He used to come in with Magic, Isaiah, and it was another guy. He said it was three of them. They used to come in all the time. He said, Vinny looked like he all out of shape. Man, that dude was smart as heck, man. Smart guy.
Right. Image, man. You just never know.
Man, for real.
I got two questions. For that I want to break up in two segments. The first one is, and they're both regarding advice that we would give to a youngster. So say we got an 18-year-old finishing high school and going to college, and when you get on campus, everybody offering you credit cards, right?
Sure.
And then a youngster trying to get a part-time job. What type of advice would you give an 18-year-old going to college right now, as far as financial literacy?
Talking to me or anybody?
Yeah, just the room. Yeah.
I'll let you answer that, Amir.
Well, for me, if an 18-year-old, and you're saying like financial advice, just to kind of get on, well, based on what Ed was saying, I think it's important that we have mentors in our community, and mentors don't just have to be if you're playing sports and he's like giving you advice on what you should do, because now athletes can now make money off of their likeness. So I'm glad the NCAA has now brought that up. But I think that it's important for kids to know their value at a certain age and kind of put that mindset into them that you can actually invest in your future if you play it right. Because we get so caught up, stay out of trouble. Don't do this. Watch who you get in the car with. Don't do this stuff. Don't put this in your body. But if we sit them down and actually give them proper game that can actually benefit their future, because this new generation, is a lot of things that is accessible to them. So if we give them game on investing, as things start to increase and give value, I think it's important to get people like Ed involved into the mix, where they can come and speak to young men and young women and give them game on things that they need to learn. And that it's okay if you go to junior college and you go in and go to a four-year university and invest in your education. That's fine, because you're getting other game and you're networking. Networking is so important. The value of networking is so important because you're actually investing in an opportunity that can benefit you in the long run. And we just mentioned basketball players who were making a couple $100,000 in the 70s and 80s. But if there was no networking involved, they wouldn't be worth over $500 million. So it's important that we have platforms like this where we can tell young kids, hey, I mean, we've all had some success, mentoring young people. I know, Shar, you've done it. Antonio, you've done it. Ed, I know you've done it. I've done it. So it's important that we say, hey, I got a brother. I know a sister. I know someone in the community that can give you game, that can help you out and build a plan for success. Because I think we get so caught up in our community. Oh, just go to school, just work. But
why?
But
what's
why?
the why behind it?
Yeah.
We don't give the why enough.
So I think that's important that we do that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Sure.
Yeah, that actually answered my second question, which would be what advice would we give to a college graduate that's getting themselves in the real world?
My first advice.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shar. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say teach the importance of learning what. How do I want to phrase this? Helping young college graduates understand their relationship with money, because they're now getting their first real job. They may have to pay back student loans. So I think it's important, to Ed's point on the mindset, is helping them understand what their relationship with money is and how they should value it and how they can use it as a tool to benefit them opposed to their detriment. Because similar to your experience, Ed, I've heard so many Black people say oh, no, I don't want to use credit. Credit is the devil. And it's no, credit can be your friend. You can be your own worst enemy on how you utilize the credit, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with credit. White people showed us that. Wealthy people have showed us that. So it's just helping them understand the value in money. That's what I would do, is help cultivate that mindset.
And then my thing that I would say is for someone who's graduating is, when you get to the real world, start working, dress like the CEO. Eventually you're going to become the CEO. And it's back to what we said, the mindset. You coming in there looking all scruffy and tough, you're not going to succeed. But if you dress like the part, you will get the part. And then I would also say, always try to have your side hustle. And I'm gonna go back to our earlier conversation, Amir, when you were talking about the 1980s and the Reagan administration. We're coming out of the late 70s, going to the 80s. If we look back at history, a lot of the Black men then had what they had was a trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were barbers, they were plumbers, they were brick masons, they were construction workers. They worked on the assembly lines at factories, whatever. They always had a good trade, mechanic, whatever. And all of those men during that time did what? They helped them and their wives and ladies get into a home.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were provide for themselves. But then when they did the separatism and started letting people get in the projects and telling women, hey, you can't have a man here to get in this place to pay you $5 a month. They went with that. I'm gonna go with the $5 a month. I don't need no, you know what I mean? And it just changed the whole dynamic within our time frame. And I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about my dad. My dad is military. He did 28 years in the Army. He did 20 years at the post office, and he cut hair since 1966. My dad told me when he was in the military and got out the military, he's like, I'm a war hero. He was in Vietnam and all that. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna get a job with the police department. Said he tried that, shot him down. Said I'm gonna try with the fire department. Shot him down. He's like, man, I've been out here on the front line for y'all, and I can't even get an opportunity because the separatism was there. As far as they wasn't allowing us too many times to get those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, man, I mean, it just goes into that mindset, is that it has to start at an early age, and it has to start. Our parents my mom put the mindset in me to save money, because she paid cash for everything. And I think, as we were saying back in the day, earlier in the segment, is that people are afraid to pay $50 a month because money is coming out of all places. You know what I'm saying? Because people are surviving and in some cases living paycheck to paycheck. So they're afraid to commit to that $50 a month. When we change our mindset, we'll understand that it's helping us, right? Maintain a credit score, maintain financial, a discipline, a financial discipline and stability, right? Yeah. But moving on, man. I mean, Ed, this is wonderful. You've been so insightful for this this Convo Lounge conversation, man. So insightful, and we're really happy that you were able to meet with us today.
Appreciate it.
But we're gonna go into yeah, for sure. We about to go into our sound off segment. So go ahead, Amir, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you once again, Ed. So our sound off segment now live is what movie franchise needs to go, or what TV reboot or show are you excited about or needs to go? So
y'all can stop the Fast and the Furious. Like y'all, like we're done. I've been done since the second one. I really feel like after Paul Walker passed away, they really could have cut it at that point. But y'all can stop Fast and Furiousing me to death, please and thank you.
Now I'm right there with you. It's getting to the point now. I told the homie that I said at this point they go into space, they're gonna mess around and start having the Transformers and all kind of different characters floating around, you know. And then I know they did spinoffs as well with the Rock's character. But I guess for me, a show that I'm excited about, I brought this up the other day, I'm gonna give it a chance, is they're rebooting the Wonder Years. With a whole new concept with the black cast, and I believe it takes place in the 60s, 70s down south. It is Lee Daniels. I'm not a big fan of Lee Daniels, but I'll say, all right, I'll give it a shot, and see what it's about. And then the same thing I feel with like Space Jam. I'm like, I know it's LeBron and all, but that's Michael Jordan's thing. And it's like he's always tried to like live in the shadows of like I don't know. There's certain things you should just leave alone. And these Hollywood executives and producers, try to put things again. It's like we've done that already. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, what makes that Space Jam better than the other? I don't know. I don't know. I just find it interesting when they just hold on to stuff and they keep creating and run out of ideas. So as you always
with the Lion King, they could have kept the original Lion King. We didn't need that second one back. We did not need Beyonce as Nyla, like at all. We didn't need it.
Sell tickets. I'm from the old school. I like music and hearing things. So what I'm excited about is the Ghetto Boys Reloaded. That's a podcast with Willie D, Brad, and Jay Brent. And to know that their history, meaning they broke up with each other, they had a little friction, but to see these brothers get back together in one good form of platform, I'm excited about that.
That's dope. Man, I'm tired of slave movies.
Super tired.
I don't want to see no more slave movies.
Bro. Stop, Hollywood. I don't want to see another Underground Railroad reboot. I don't want to see none of that. Tell stories of things that showcase positivity and the impact that we made globally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, stop signing up for it. Stop.
Yeah.
No more. Like that's not our history. It's not.
I'm like, how many different variations of Harriet Tubman am I going to see?
Right. And then have an actor play her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
question. You guys watch the documentary about Tulsa, Oklahoma?
No, I know there's been like so many different ones about that, but those are the stories that need to be told. And it's funny you brought that up because I actually, I'm into sci-fi, and there was a show on HBO, Lovecraft Country, and I'm a little disappointed that they didn't pick it up for a second season, but it took place in the Jim Crow era, and the family is, there are things that the family goes through that over time you see that there is an impact of things that they've been fighting, generational. So what takes place is there is a scene where they go back in time, and it takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I think it's important that we know our history of things that where they try to shut us down, and it correlates with what we're talking about right now is financial freedom. So it's really important that we are aware of that.
Hey, you guys don't mind me dropping a little science on you real quick, do you?
Go for it.
No, not at all.
Well, we're talking about generational wealth and so forth, right? Well, the city of Manhattan Beach, people don't realize that there was a black wealthy family that owned a lot of property in Manhattan Beach.
Right.
And they got bought out and moved basically off of their land and property. So now the state of California is giving these folks what they call that repercussion.
Reciprocity.
Reparations.
Yeah.
Reciprocity.
So now the family of that family will have generational wealth for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So that's very impactful. Like I like you guys can call me back again for a Black History moment, because I taught history for a while when I was a teacher.
Oh yeah, we would love to, because we have a theme on the Convo Lounge that's Black History is 365 days a year. So we would love to bring you back and have that conversation.
I'll talk about that all day. You got history and story.
Yeah, exactly. And while we were on entertainment, Kenya Barris turned down $100 million deal with Netflix because Netflix is becoming CBS. So he's like, I'm cool with y'all. I think he got another deal where he's able to do music, movies, and I think like some other fashion. I don't know what it is, but basically Kenya Barris wants to be the proponent to create movies about our story, not necessarily our story sense, like, you know, Blackish and whatnot, but like gangster movies. He wants, like, we watched the Italians do their mob movies, so he wants to do movies that kind of represent the communities moving forward. And so
we can spin on that.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think one thing I would like to say too, though, I think it's important that we tell stories because we're so fascinated by other cultures and telling their stories, and then our stories are always negative, or our stories showcase just what the history books show, but we don't go back to where the essence of it all started, which is what's on my shirt right now, right? So it's important that we tell those stories where we were kings and queens and whatnot. So we get so caught up into, let's tell the story when we were enslaved. Let's tell the story where we were brutally mistaken and we were treated unfairly. So that's why it's important that we watch documentaries, that we train our minds to expand on. That's why in our last episode, I showcased High on the Hog and how important that was for the African diaspora to like learn more about why the cuisine we eat is a cuisine that we eat. We were entrepreneurs at some point. We were bigger and larger than what they showcase on television. And it's important to also know why certain things were created that were against us, and why we're still fighting to this day with the systemic racism that goes on in this country, and why we need to have platforms like this for the people. So we appreciate you, Ed.
Not a problem.
And as
really
we
quick
say,
though, Amir, I'm sorry. I think we need to dispel the truth that we were all descendants of kings and queens, because that's not true. That is not true. Not everybody in Africa was royalty. We didn't all come over here as royalty. That's not all of our lineage. Like the reality of the situation is,
I'm from the hood, so we must have been in the hood.
Like even in Africa, like we over glamorize that narrative that we're all descendants of royalty. That's just not the reality. It's not. Like, you have to give that truth too, and understand the generational dysfunctions around that as well.
So you're saying that we feel entitled in a sense because we think that that our ancestors were kings and queens?
Some of us do walk around with a little entitlement chip on their shoulder, and it's like, you're probably the descendant of like the village help. Like, just call a thing a thing, and that's okay. But let that be okay.
Right.
Let that be okay. Let that be your diamond in a rough story. You know what I mean? Like, you made a way out of like you made something out of nothing. That should be okay as well.
Right.
I'm gonna have to hit up. No, I hear you, but I'm gonna have to hit up Henry Louis Gates and actually get my lineage, because But I think it is important that we know our history and where we come from, regardless of what ethnicity that you are, because it's good to know that and have a sense of yourself, knowledge of self, which is something that Malcolm X preached all the time. So it's one of those things where it's important. But one thing I wanted to say, Ed, is that we appreciate you coming on, because we have guests that come on and we're like, oh,
you guys got anyone that needs some help with their credit situation, or they just want somebody to give them some advice? I'm only a phone call away, man.
Well, that's what I was about to allude to. So for all of our listeners, and even for us here, I definitely want to holler at you on the side as well. Where can we stay in contact with you if you have social media or?
I'm on social media. Sure, it's ED.WIRT 9273. That's on Instagram and also on Facebook. Nice. If you guys want to call me directly, 562-623-7140.
Wow.
You about to get some people hitting you up.
I'll help you guys out the best I can. And I don't always charge people. Like I give a lot of free game, as you guys see.
That's what's up.
That's
Bless you for that. God bless you. Honestly, we need more Eds.
Not a problem. I'm telling you,
Word.
each one and teach one. Each one and teach one.
Find
And I
one.
was talking about Tulsa earlier because in Tulsa, you know, they had their own banks, they had their own dentists, they had their own doctors, they had their own lawyers, their own tailors. It was just one thriving Black community. It was beautiful.
Yep.
No doubt. For the rest of us collectively, you know, you can follow us at the Convo Lounge. You can follow the Convo Lounge on Instagram and Twitter. You can also support our Patreon page as well, and also on YouTube at the Convo Lounge. You can follow me at the Prosperous One, _Prosperous_1 on Instagram.
I am on Instagram as @char.rochelle.
You find me Antonio Crow Clothing and on the Convo Lounge always.
And also, Antonio, I need help on starting my clothing brand, please.
And we're gonna talk about that today, man.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all stay cool, stay hydrated, enjoy the barbecues, enjoy the family time, and we'll see you next time on the Convo Lounge. Peace.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Peace.
Stay blessed.
Yeah.